Hey guys, welcome back to Voices from the Mausoleum. In today's episode, I'm going to be going over my top 3 final girl crushes. Originally, I was supposed to be doing this video with a friend of mine, and she was going to talk about her girl crushes and why they were so important to her. But unfortunately, she wasn't able we weren't able to schedule time together before this video was supposed to come out because she ended up with some just real life things going on. So it's just going to be my 3. Which does mean, however, that I get to take back one of mine because I did originally change it so we would have different ones. Yeah, I just thought it would be fun to do this on the video before Valentine's Day. So final girls, last girls, whatever you want to call them, are this iconic thing in slasher horror and some not so slasher horror, of this girl who kind of rises to the occasion and somehow, whether through being a badass or really just having a lot of luck, survives whatever's going on in the story. So sometimes, arguably, there are even times when the last girl, the final girl, actually doesn't even make it out. But mine do, so I'm gonna stick with that. But so yeah, so you like my Jaws shirt? I choose you. It's too cute. Yeah, so I'm just gonna jump right into it. My 3 girl crushes for my final girls. So my first final girl crush is Ripley from the Alien franchise. First of all, I have mad respect for her as an actress. But more than that, I think Ripley kind of represents a very interesting thing in film. And I actually had a conversation with somebody not that long ago, pretty recently, about what the definition of being typecasted is, or what it means to just basically be put in a certain role because you look like a certain role. And I think one of the things that I remember about her was that she didn't stick out as this overly feminine, over-the-top girly character, you know, that got through on whimsy or good looks or because she was with somebody strong that could help take care of her. She was kind of always this androgynous character, and I think it just speaks volumes to the character itself, because I think not only whether you intentionally do it or not, whether you're a female or a male, whether you're a feminist or a non-feminist, I think you naturally have a bit more respect for her character because she's not like that. She's a little rough and tumble, but aside from that, I think she just kind of grows on us as a character. I think between all, you know, obviously the original Alien movie is, well, it's kind of uneventful for, you know, what it is now. Like if you watched it now and you had never seen it, you would find it to be a pretty boring movie. But for its time, it was really well done. And I think as somebody who's a fan of the Alien franchise, I appreciate how it's aged. It was more about building suspense in the unknown, and the atmosphere and the people played a valuable role in what you felt. And Ripley made you feel everything that she was feeling. And I think she's my first one because I think in terms of final girls, last girls, I think she's probably the first one that ever stuck with me as I was growing up watching horror films. And then of course, like we had, you know, Laurie from Halloween, which kind of set us up for what final girls, last girls ended up being, even though she's not technically the first. But I think when I think of my older favorites, I always go immediately to Ripley. I'm also kind of a big fan of like alien monster movies, sci-fi stuff, so I think that's part of it too. So my number 2 is Erin from You're Next. If you've not seen You're Next, it is a phenomenal movie. It's a bit of a, it's kind of like a dark humor horror, but it's really good. I don't really like parody horrors, but I don't think you would call this movie that. But anyway, so Erin is the girlfriend of this guy who's going home with his family to go see his family for, I think, his parents' wedding anniversary. And while she's there, you know, she's not from the States originally. She's, I believe, Australian. And, you know, a bunch of stuff goes crazy. And the reason that I love Erin so much is because in the time of need, when people start dying and blood starts going everywhere and bad shit starts to happen, she just sort of jumps into action. There's no hesitation. It's like she's one of the few whose survival instincts to this fight or flight concept just like really kicks in gear. And then you learn throughout the movie that why she is the way that she is, how she knows the things that she knows. She starts setting traps around the house else. She's like a no-nonsense girl when it comes to fighting, when she gets in touch with the people that are attacking them face to face. Like, you know, I wouldn't say it's really like hand-to-hand combat. She definitely uses weapons and stuff, but she's just very keen. Like, she just picks up on stuff. She realizes what's going on a lot sooner than I think, you know, most of the other characters would have anyway if they'd survived. But she's just this really kick-ass character. And when it comes to the end and she finds out, spoiler alert, that her boyfriend is to blame for all the things that happened, she takes that little knife that she has and she lets him have it. All of that anger and emotion, just like from the whole night, all of her adrenaline, everything poured into this moment of someone that she loved and trusted betraying her. And she just has no more fucks to give. Like, she's over it. She's covered in blood. She's put somebody's head in a blender. Like, she's not playing games. And it's got a great, the ending is so perfect. But she's definitely a very close second. I just love her story. I thought the woman who was the actress for Erin, I think did a really great job, super convincing. It didn't feel like this made up story. Like, if you didn't know any better, you'd really believe that she grew up with this weird survivalist family and she just knew how to do all of these things. I certainly don't think I would have it in me to smash a blender and use the blades to go through somebody's skull. Maybe, probably not. But yeah, so that's my number 2 is Erin from Your Next. And then my third favorite is Mia from the Evil Dead remake. I know the Evil Dead remake gets a bad rap. I know people who love it. I know mostly people who hate it. But as I've said before, I'm a huge fan of remakes. That is one of my favorite remakes of all times. But I have a couple of reasons that I like Mia, aside from the fact that she's absolutely adorable. And the woman that plays her is a phenomenal actress. I've seen her in many, many things. And, but aside from all of those things, she, one of the things that I thought made the Evil Dead remake story, we'll say better, for lack of a better term, is because the character who experiences the first possession, the first situation in the woods is way more believable. You know, in the first movie, the person it happens to is this very normal girl, like, and no one believes her. No one believes any of the things that she says, and they had no reason to not believe her. Whereas Mia is a recovering drug addict who's going through withdrawals. You absolutely wouldn't believe anything that she said, least of all some of the crazy shit she says that she's seen or experienced in the woods. And I think that just makes her so much more, like, I call them the reliable witness. When there's a character in the story that is someone that you can believe, but most of the time they don't. So in this situation, this is someone you absolutely would not believe, and it worked so well for the story. It helped me like really get immersed into it, and I just thought that made all the difference in the world. I think that overall, the things that she overcomes throughout the entire movie, all of the the guts and the cutting of her tongue and like all the shit that happens to her, she is just this like nonstop force. And the ending of the movie where she fights the abomination, I was so, like, the first time I saw it, I'm pretty sure I saw it in theaters. I was like, literally, like, I had so much anxiety. I was so involved in her as a person. And I wanted so badly for her to win. And a lot of times when I go see horror movies with monsters or ghosts or evil whatevers, like, I typically don't want the humans to win because I think that's a far less likely thing if this is real life. And I don't really go for the happy endings in horror movies. I kind of prefer the sad or what some would consider disappointing endings. But Mia is just not, she doesn't get, like, she gets to the end, she pulls her arm out from under that Jeep and she's missing like part of her arm. You know, she's just, again, fight or flight kicks in and she's kicking ass, she's not playing. And then, you know, the whole ending, it just in general, it was so good. I was so wrapped up in the story and I just could not stop cheering her on. And when I think of, you know, my final girl crushes, those are the ones that stick out to me the most. Ripley from the Alien franchise, you know, Erin from Your Next, and Mia from the Evil Dead remake. And those are my ladies for my Valentine's Day weekend. Let me know what your final girl crushes are. There's so many of them. Lori is definitely a good one. When I started to think about why I didn't, like, originally I was going to do Lori instead of Ripley because my friend was going to do Ripley because someone who's very special to her. I was like, well, Lori's always a good one for me. Like, she's kind of a safe bet in terms of, Last Girls, because even though she's not the original, she was the one that set forth kind of this momentum of movies where all this crazy shit happens and there's like this one female that makes it to the end or makes it to the end and out. The Sydneys and all those different, the female characters. And there's a bunch of them and they're all great in their own way, but those are just the ones that stick out to me. So that's all I have for my Valentine's Day edition, episode, whatever you want to call it. Let me know what your not Valentine's Day, last girl, final girl crushes are. If you like the ones that I like, is it for the same reasons? Anyway, yeah, so that's all I have for this time. Enjoy your weekend, whatever you decide to do. If you hate Valentine's Day, if you love it, whatever makes you happy. And see you guys next weekend.